Welcome to our channel. This is Yvonne from Ginger Chick Rehab, and along with my husband Chris, we do thrift flips. We take unwanted, unloved, outdated thrift store finds and then we give them new life. And on our channel, we share the process with you all. So we were sent this picture and offered this desk for free. As you can tell, it was in a little bit rough shape, but it was in a house that somebody had purchased and they were just going to burn it and knew that we did furniture. Though we don't usually do a lot of desks like this. Actually, we've never done a desk like this. We are furniture painters and not furniture restorers. But since it was one step from a burn pile, Chris was willing to take on the task. So there's definitely a lot of beautiful detail to this piece, but unfortunately, as the obvious is that broken drawer. And then there's a lot of little veneer spots that are broken right off and there's no pieces to replace them with. That's what I'm saying. We are not that type of restorer at all, but we'll at least give it a try to make it look pretty again. So since this was in a basement and a little bit questionable, it was actually cleaned off a little bit before you even got to see it, that it needs cleaned off before Chris is even going to touch it. So I know you're all looking going, well, why is he taking that piece off? That's not the piece that's broken off. Well, to get this nice and straight the way that it should be, so it's going in and out of the space allotted for the drawer to fit in, you actually need to pop all four pieces off and then get them re-glued or refixed before. That's just how you build a drawer back together. You got to take it apart to build it back together right. It's always fun to find a name on a piece. So I don't know how excited you all are to see somebody gluing little pieces back together, but that's just how it's going to be. This is just going to be a lot of Titebond glue, a lot of little pieces that were broken off, trying to salvage what pieces he can. Make sure that that has a good bond. He's going to be clamping them in place now. If there's a bonus to this, that both of the hardware pieces are still there. So if you can see on the back of this drawer, there's some of that veneer that's missing there. It's a couple good chunks right out of it. So he's going to be using this wood filler. It's one of those that you have to warm up in your hands, get the warming motion to get the putty to work, and then put it into those areas where the veneer is missing. The back piece on this is able to be removed. Oh, the flathead screws. But you can tell the age of the piece, or maybe people just like to use flathead screws, but luckily it can be taken off. So even though the handles were there, the piece was missing one of its wheels, and luckily at our local habitat, we are always looking for odds and ends like this, and our habitat always has one or two or three wheels, never all four of the wheels. So luckily there was one to replace this. So as you can see with all these clamps, how much wood filler or epoxy or putty or glue, just the challenge of all the little places on this desk that were needing to be fixed. I guess Chris was up to the challenge. Now the other challenge is, now that you've got them all epoxied or wood filler, now you got to try to sand all that little bit of area. And yep, so that's what he has to do now, go in and try to get those little areas. He tried not to build it up too much, but you do need something to sand off to make it smooth. For some areas, you just couldn't get a sander in it or even a little Dremel, so he's just taking one of his curved chisels and just working on it to get that as smooth as he possibly can. So as beat up as all those pieces and parts were, the top needs to be sanded. There's lots of deep scrapes and gouges that just need to have this top sanded smooth. And he'll go in with the orbital sander wherever he can get it into, just to take that shiny off so it will be able to accept the paint a little bit better. that he's got all those details fixed, he can get this drawer put back together. So some Titebond glue in those seam areas. Hopefully this won't come back apart anytime soon. So after he gets it glued and he got it hammered so it's in place, it's a nice tight fit, he's using these corner clamps until that glue dries. Now the corner clamps definitely help keep this together as he's trying to get that bottom back, slide it in. This is all kind of a slide technique, trying to get all these pieces and parts back together. But until that glue dries, you want to get all these pieces apart while the glue's still wet. So yes, those corner clamps definitely come in handy. So if this desk has not seen its share of clamps, but now the drawer needs its share of clamps to wait for that Titebond glue to dry, and hopefully it keeps this drawer together. After letting that sit overnight, now he can remove all these clamps, and with a little prayer that it's going to be nice and tight and not come apart again. So then that poor desk sat off to the side for quite a while. It was sometimes when you work on something so much, you're just like, oh, just set it off to the side. But we were getting our Graco sprayer out, doing a whole bunch of smaller objects. So Chris decided that, hey, you know what? It is all fixed. It just needs to get painted now. So I had to take the layer of the dust off that just collects in a workshop. So we're just using the Graco sprayer, like I said, using the black onyx. Wasn't really sure what color to make this desk. I didn't know if black would show all the details off, and as you see, we did tape over that name. I just name a date, anything like that, especially when it's handwriting we want to save. With all the little fixes that this desk had to go through, it was just easier just to get that undercoat, spray paint it black, get everything all covered up, and start it off fresh. And it's a very red piece, so painting it white, I'm pretty sure that it would just have had a ton of bleed through. Yeah, I guess you could have primed it, but like I said, cost efficient. We don't usually flip items like this, so we don't even know how it'll sell for us. After getting all the hardware clean with some hot water and Dawn dish soap, letting it dry, now I'm just going to give them a nice coat of the Rust-Oleum flat black. And if you see, I am doing the wheels too, but I did tape off the wooden wheel part itself. And after that Rust-Oleum black paint dried, I just sealed it in with using some of this Rust-Oleum clear matte that's supposed to protect the finish. As I'm still trying to figure out what color to make this piece, I'm just going to go through and seal this black in using some Polycrylic. So I have to say, this is not a huge piece that wouldn't need too much paint. So I thought, you know what, we have some chalk paint up in our hoard that we used on another project. So I thought, well, why don't I just go ahead and grab that quart of paint and use it up on this desk. So now when I use this chalk paint to begin with, I wasn't really sure on how to use chalk paint, but now that I know that I can water it down in the brush and keeping the brush wet, I think that I can achieve the look. There is just some absolutely beautiful details on this piece, so I'm hoping at the end of this project that I'll be able to make them pop. So here is all dried. It took about 2 coats, a little bit on the streaky side of that top, not too sure about that, but I'm gonna go in and sand this piece. But the funny story is I really thought that this was a gray color, but now I'm thinking that I grabbed the black can. So I just spent all that time painting a black piece black again. Really just sanding to smooth. I'm not really sanding this piece to distress it since I'm already black on black, and I don't think black's going to make any of those detail pop. I will just proceed on sanding it smooth. Now I'm just going to use the air compressor to blow all that sanding dust off that I created. So I guess I've already done black on black. Why not do some more black? So I'm just going to use this Jolie black wax that I purchased from Amazon and just richen up that black. If I already got 2 layers of black, let's get a 3rd layer of black and just make this rich. Really wanted to find some gilding wax, but I wanted something I could purchase and take home with me that day, but of course I could not find anything like that in our area. It was something I had to order online. So I'm mixing up kind of my own. I'm taking some of this Verathane natural wax and a little bit of this hardware gold paint. There was a little section at Menards that had some of these. At first I thought it was gilding wax, but it'll be okay. I'm just going to mix the two together. I just want those details to pop, and sanding's not going to make those pop black on black. So I'm just going to go in and do the hardware and all those little features. So yep, I guess this is as close to gilding wax as I can think to make. Now in these sections, I put a little too much in that little crevice like that, so I just went back in with a little bit of a rag just to wipe the excess off. So what do you all think? The black on black with the little gold accent on the details. I think for a free item and trying to keep it very cost efficient since we don't flip normally items like this, I do like, if I ever found the real Golden Wax, wow, I really do like how it made all these details on this piece pop. So what do you guys all think about how this black on black on black with a little bit of gold accents free desk turned out? Leave us a comment down below. Thanks for watching today's video, guys.